Hey guys, welcome back to the classical guitar warm-up technique video series I'm doing. This is part 5, and this one's going to be going over tremolo. So I'm going to show you some of this stuff, and if I get through this pretty fast, I might just do chords in this video as well, or I might make a separate video, but let's just see how this goes. Alright, so the first tremolo study that I really did was out of pumping nylon. Let me just see if I can find that. I didn't really necessarily plan on doing this, but I figure I might as well show you some of the other things I've done before I'm doing, I show you what I'm doing now. So if you look at pumping nylon, which I talked about in the video 4 of this series, which is the last one. Anyway, if you go to pumping nylon and go to page 57, and it's exercise 4, this is what I was doing for a while for tremolo, and it was kind of recently that I decided to change. I felt like I wasn't really doing tremolo quite the right way, so I decided to change what I was doing. This one's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think that, there's a couple main points you want to get with tremolo. One of those is you want to keep it, the rhythm even with it, which can be kind of tough if you try to go too fast at first. And the other point is you want to keep your the top note is considered the melody, so you want to keep that louder than the thumb. And it's very easy, especially when you're starting out and you're just not playing an actual song, you're just playing an activity like this, to want to bring out the bass, because, as you see in this activity, it is the thumb that keeps changing notes, throughout the thing. And on this activity, it's just E for the, top part of the tremolo. So I think the brain just wants to think like, oh, the melody must be, a bass melody. So you want to bring out the thumb, but really you want to bring out the top part for the tremolo. So I feel like this it definitely covers the rhythm aspect of it, keeping it very even, but how it jumps back and forth between different strings with the thumb, it goes E, and then it jumps up. Well, it doesn't jump up, but I mean, like, let me just start on this measure because it's easier to show you. If you're looking at this is the second measure. You see that goes B, and then on the next, beat, it goes E, then B, E, and here goes G, E, G, E. It keeps kind of jumping back and forth like that between playing, one of the lower strings here, and then that's on beat 1. So you get let's go with B, like that, and then on the second beat you would hit E with the thumb, and then do the rest of tremolo too. So I think for keeping that melody higher than the bass, I don't think is very effective, because every other beat that you play, you're playing the same note with your thumb as you are with the rest of the tremolo's fingers. So I don't think that's very effective. So instead what I do is, it's kind of similar idea. You just want to start out with your 3 tremolo fingers. If you're brand new to tremolo, I recommend checking out a bunch of other videos too, because I'm not going to get too into the basics, but A, M, I is the pattern. So P, A, M, I, just over and over and over. Yeah, and like I said, keep it even, keep these fingers louder than the thumb. You can watch a ton of other videos. This is really just about this one, these few different exercises for it, not about, necessarily how to do it. So if you don't know anything about tremolo, I recommend either talking to your teacher if you have one, or, picking up a book like Pumping Nylon, or going watching basic videos. So you want to have your thumb on the B string, have your other 3 fingers on the E, not necessarily on, but ready to play, and then hit B, A, M, I, that kind of thing. Go through the 4 beats like that, and then you move to the G string, but keep the other fingers right on E. And then, you know, D, A, E. Then if you want to go back up, you can. And then, you know, that's usually where I would stop, and that's why I think one of the major flaws with the pumping nylon exercise here is that it only does the E string. If you try to play an actual tremolo piece, you don't just play on the E string, you play that tremolo, you know, you can go to the B string, even to the G string, and then, you know, when you start out and you just only do the E string and you build up so much speed, and then you try to go here just sloppy, because when you're on the E string there's nothing else out here and you can just, you know, swing wildly, do whatever you want, and then once you go to the B string you're like, oh, there's another string right there, you know, the E string that's kind of in my way. So then after I do that, you know, all on the E string with the thumb moving up and down, then I move to the B string with the AMI, and then I start with the thumb on G. You know, and then same idea of going down. And then I also do on the G string, and the thumb starts on D. And, you know, same idea. That's really all I do. I mean, I'm not super fast at tremolo. You know, I was getting pretty fast, like I said, with this activity. And then as soon as I tried to apply it to any other strings or use it in a piece, I realized that I just, you know, just kind of ruined me. It really messed my technique up. So I recommend not really doing it. I know earlier on I actually said I would recommend it to someone, but maybe just if you're just starting out, or if you want to work on an aspect of, you know, moving the thumb around faster, because it does get your thumb moving more, which can be important for tremolo pieces. So if you already, you know, are getting good at tremolo on all the, you know, on different strings, and you want to work on, you know, okay, I need to go all the way from here, then up to here to play this. You know, if you, like in, just so I can mention, it doesn't have the measure numbers, but anyway, the one where it has a low E, and then you have to go back up to that high E, back down, you know, get your thumb moving. But I think if you're starting out, you really shouldn't do this, because, you know, you're going to get used to only playing the E string, and when you try to switch to a lower string, you're going to be kind of screwed up. So I think that went pretty fast. Not much else I have to say about it, so I'll just jump into chords, and this will wrap up the kind of series that I have going here with the warm-up technique stuff. And chords is pretty, you know, basic idea too. It's just something I think a lot of people don't do in the classical guitar community. In jazz, obviously, that's a huge amount of what they do is chords, but all I do is kind of the two-part step here. Like I said in my diatonic one, I pick one key and do that for the, you know, I go around the circle of fifths, you know, okay, say C major, next is G major, you know, all that. So whatever key I did the scale in, I do my chords in. So let's say, you know, sticking with the C major theme like in the scales, what do I do? What I do is I use the top of these three strings, and then the root in you know, one of the bass strings, one of the lower three strings. So for C major, you know, real easy. You have, and I always try to get all three notes in the chord, because sometimes you can get it to where you have something missing. For example, like a G major, you can have the G in the bass, G here on the open G string, open B, and then G, but you're missing the D. So if you want to do that, but now you're missing the B if you close up, you know, on here on the D, on the third fret of the B string. So instead I actually do that kind, where you bar it, so that way you get the G here, you get the B on the G string, the D on the B string, and then G up in the top. So I just go through the whole key, you know, each chord through, not just like a 1, 4, 5 kind of thing. I do the whole C major, and then D minor, E minor, which is just, you don't have to put anything down, and then F major, G major with the bar like I said, A minor, and then B diminished don't do B minor, it's B diminished. Let me remember how I did this. That's how you do it. You know, so you're gonna get some tricky ones, especially in tougher keys to play in. But that's kind of the first step. You just go through, play the triads. You know, 3 notes on top with the root and the bass. I don't worry about, you know, the order of the notes in the top 3 strings. I don't make sure like, oh, the root has to be on top or the third has to be on top or anything. I just make sure that the root is in the bass. I don't do any weird inversions or anything. And then just as long as there is all 3 notes in there somewhere, then that's that. Then the second step is then I do the 7ths with that. So just like before, 3 notes on top and root in the bass. So for C major again, just like that, you just have your finger on the 3rd fret there, and then you have C, G, B, E, major 7. And then for D minor, you would do D, A, C, F. And then for E, some of these, when it gets to the 7ths, I will, on occasion, leave something out, like right here. I might just do E, G, D, E, or you could do, if you really want that B in there, or you could do, so you know, it just depends on what you do. You know, every day it could be something different. Well, every day it will be different for a different key, but I mean, each time you go through and play the same chord, because you're going to playing, you know, C major is going to be in key C major, key G major, you know, it's going to be in multiple keys, so each time you play a chord, it can be totally different. You could leave out something, you could go high for that, go like that. However you want to do it, you know, every day it could be different. You might not even mean to make it different, but it could be. Like, I don't have like a chord chart or anything that I go by. I just, okay, I need to make a E minor 7. How am I going to do it today, you know? But then, you know, F, G, sometimes it can be a stretch. So that's your dominant 7 for the G. And then A, minor 7, B, that's your diminished 7, and then you get back to C major 7. So that's all I do for chords then, just those two different things, just going through the triads and then with the 7ths. And that basically wraps up my warm-up. And then after that I go through and play an entire Suzuki book. Each day it's something different, so I'll start off with the accompaniment for book 1, then the next day I just do book 1, next day book 2, you know, 3, 4, 5. And then I just get right into the rep that I'm working on after that. And once I finish the rep that I'm working on, then I'll get into, you know, going back and playing some older stuff, maybe I haven't played in a while, or, you know, whatever it might be. And that's, you know, my full day's work for guitar, you know. And it's important to note that, you know, not every day do I get into that, you know, old repertoire maintenance kind of stuff. You know, there's certain days when you gotta cut things down, and I think that this, you know, yours can be different. You might have, you know, different activities or exercises, whatever you want to call them, than mine, but your warm-up is the #1 thing. You know, you don't even think about playing rep until you finish your warm-up. Is, you know, that's how I play. It's just, you know, the main thing, like, if you play a sport, and it's like you gotta do your workout before you can go onto the practice field or something, you know. If your fingers aren't warmed up, if they're not in shape and all that, no, you gotta get in, you know, and do that warm up, and then you can do your other repertoire and different things. So, I mean, if you're gonna do one thing a day, just one, you know, section of your practice, don't make it your repertoire. Make it your warm up, and then do your rep after that. And if you don't have time for your rep, at least you did your warm up, you know. So that's all I really have to say. Well, one other thing I want to add: this is not something that I started when I was, first started playing. This has been a big, evolution kind of thing going on. There were times when I probably didn't really have much of a warm up at all, and then later on I built up, this big warm up that was taking me, well over half an hour to do. And finally I just said, I have to change this. This is taking up so much time. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So this has been kind of, me coming into a middle there where I get, the warm-up that I need, but it's not taking me, some crazy amount of time to do. So that's it. This is the end of the series. I don't know what I'm going to do after this. If I'm going to go back to making music theory videos, which I haven't done in a long time. I made 2 of those way back, probably over a year now, I would think, but I might do that, or I might just work on recording at some point, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't seen the rest of the series, check it out. If you want to be updated on whatever project I'm going to be starting next, hit subscribe. If you like this video, hit like, and thanks for watching.